And good Thursday morning. Welcome to episode 29 of the Inside Drive podcast. We have Brent Dillard with us today. We'll be going to him in just a second. He's with Southern Elite Sports and Island Tiki Tours. He can tell us a little bit about his businesses today. Then we're going to break down the the new rankings of the college football players and of course the conference championships that are coming up this weekend. And it is Thursday, so of course halfway through we'll be going through our funny, crazy stories. We used to call it the afternoon delight debrief, but now it's in the morning, so can't really call it that anymore. But first, any Bay County golfers looking to improve their golf score, Golf Plus is the place to be in Bay County with the tools and expertise to help you. Golf Plus has been featured in Golf and Golf Digest magazine as the top club fitters in the country, and they certainly deserve it. The fitting studio will blow you away with the selection of brands and models of clubs and shafts. The putting green is filled with all the latest and greatest brands you could possibly want. The repair shop, second to none. Tour van quality repairs every time and fast too. Golf Plus is your fitting studio and repair shop on the beach, located over there in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza next to Firefly and the Pink Pelican Ice Cream Shop. Renovations have been completed. They've got a second simulator in there now. It's getting a little colder. I think we're going to have rain the next 3 or 4 days. I know, which we need. But so you can schedule not only your fittings, but you can schedule golf course simulator time as well. So you can play a bunch of golf courses all over the world and be in the comfort of the air conditioning and or heat, depending on what the temperature is outside. They've also got their holiday sales getting kicked off as we are getting ever so closer to Christmas. 25% off all junior clubs and 20% off all in-stock shoes. Again, located at the shops at Edgewater next to Firefly. You can give them a call at 850-249-2726 or online at golfplusretail.com. And then we can't forget about Panhandle Credit Union. Their quality relationships they have with our community is what Panhandle Credit Union is all about. Whether it is sponsoring an event, donating to a cause, providing loan options, or setting people up with great banking products, Panhandle Credit Union is here to serve those who live, work, worship, or attend school in Bay and other surrounding counties. Together, Panhandle Credit Union builds community. Swing by any branch location or visit panhandlecu.org to join. I want to mention American Charlie's. Our athlete of the week for last week was River Lamb. He plays for the Arnold boys soccer team. He had a hat trick last week against Ocean Springs in their 5-1 victory. He earned himself a $50 American Charlie's gift card. American Charlie's is your favorite restaurant, conveniently located in the shops at Edgewater, next to Rocket Lanes and Firefly. Great daily specials. 15 TVs for all your college and NFL games, 15% off always for military and first responder. They got all your American favorites, fried chicken, pot roast specials, wings, burgers, shrimps, and all those classic American dishes. You can visit them at AmericanCharlies.com or search American Charlies up on Facebook. Again, congratulations to River Lamb for being our American Charlies Athlete of the Week. We'll be picking one more athlete of the week for 2025 because we're rolling into 2026 here pretty quickly, which is pretty crazy. But I want to get to our guest, good friend. He's Southern Elite Sports and Island Tiki Tours, and that's Brent Dillard. Brent, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Ryan.
Absolutely. First off, tell us a little bit about what Southern Elite Sports and Island Tiki Tours are.
Yeah, Southern Elite Sports is youth and adult sports leagues. We run youth volleyball, youth basketball, youth flag football. We ran all of those in adult in the past as well. Have 3 or 4 different leagues for the different sports throughout the calendar year, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And just trying to give kids opportunities to play, work on the sports that they love. If they're a beginner, just spark that interest for a new sport. Again, just giving them instruction and trying to hone their skills on a sport, hopefully that they will grow to love and continue to play throughout their middle school, high school career. And the earlier that they can start, the better the results that we see. We love supporting the community with our schools. So the players that come through our leagues and go on to play for their schools, we try to encourage the coaches of those current schools to come out, watch the kids play in their rec league setting and try to make those introductions and just make our leagues a community feel. And it just gives me personal, a little bit of pride having kids come through our program. And again, any program in this area, but when they're able to make their middle school team or their high school team and we're able to root them on and they're doing their thing that they enjoy doing, that just gives me great satisfaction.
And that's kind of the why, right? You know, obviously you want to give an opportunity. I mean, that's the best thing. There's always some sport that a kid or child could be playing with Southern Elite Sports any time of the year, whatever it is. And that's what's so great about it. But yeah, I mean, you see a lot of kids that have come through your programs, you know, and have moved on, like you said, to their middle school teams or even high school teams, varsity teams, and all that stuff. What was your background with youth athletics and athletics in general prior to you kind of starting SES?
Yeah, I've grown up in Panama City my whole life. Went to Panama City Christian School, which is no longer a school right now, but it was that small school feel. You know, every kid was able to play on the sports teams, and you know that wasn't an excuse for us to be bad because we wanted to be good. You know, it's not like today where you've got to reserve the gym or have the coach let you in. You know, like we were able to get a key.
Yep.
We demanded the
Things
key.
have certainly changed, that's for sure.
We would not be playing if we did not have access to the gym in a constant manner, you know, outside of school, because that, to me, just reflecting back on childhood, we were the true definition of gym rats. You know, as limited as we may have been in a small Christian school, you could not keep us off the field. You could not keep us out of the gym. And again, we did strive to compete for our, you know, in our local high schools, the public schools. And we didn't want the excuse of, oh, they're just a small Christian school. We wanted to play and compete and belong, you know,
Yep.
in some of those bigger high schools and things like that. So I've played sports my entire life. Sports is life for me currently. You know, even some of the more obscure sports, I'm fascinated by and want to learn and want to know the rules. And you know, if I'm able to attempt to play or whatever that is, I enjoy doing that. I'm very competitive. But after I got into college, played basketball at Southeastern University, and going into my sophomore year, one of the programs that was a brand new program in college was sports and recreation management. And I knew right away, as soon as I read those words, that would be it for me.
Like, that's for me.
That's the career path. So got my degree in sports and recreation management. Moved back home, kind of odd and end sort of job to pay the bills. But as soon as there was an opportunity to be an hourly person at a you know, Parks and Rec with one of the city entities, I jumped all over that and was able to kind of move up to supervisor. And you know, for those folks back at the city of Lynn Haven who were participating in those programs at those times, made some great relationships, some great families. Still to this day, some of those families participate in Southern Elite Sports. Their kids are obviously older now, but that's really where it all kind of bloomed and has blossomed into Southern Elite Sports and all the leagues and tournaments and things that we do now today.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Kind of the full circle, how, you know, you started playing and then, you know, you went to college, you were playing college ball, and then you got into that particular field of work. And now here you've created this league that's just, obviously we've belonged to it for quite some time now and always have a really, really good time. One of the things, you know, obviously you want kids to develop and all that stuff too, but these leagues can get pretty competitive. You know, that rec ball has that stigma where, you know, everybody gets a trophy, everybody plays and you have some rules with everybody playing and all that stuff, but it's also really focused on development, which is why we love playing with you guys, because, you know, you've got great coaches in there. You know, you guys do such a good job. You've got great officials as well. And it's just really focused on kids getting better, which I think, you know, kind of rolls into why competitive youth leagues are so important to Bay County, is because you're making that pipeline into middle school and eventually, hopefully, high school. So kudos to you guys on creating that atmosphere and creating those opportunities for the young men and young boys and girls in Bay County to get into a great league and then kind of continue their sports life. Obviously, it's benefited us tremendously, so we appreciate you very, very much.
Absolutely. Enjoy doing it.
You know, getting back to the, you know, back in the day, you had keys to the gyms, all that stuff. What are some of the biggest challenges you guys face right now with your leagues?
Yeah, just facility. We don't have a home base. You know, and again, because of Hurricane Michael, a lot of the facilities in the area were down. and I, again, not to make excuses for our kids in our area, but when you don't have facilities to practice sports, with some of the weather challenges that we have here in the spring and summer with the rain and, just the indoor aspect. Of course, there's some hoops outside, and I hope that kids are utilizing those just as much as they are indoor things. But the structured sports for those 3 to 4 years when there were very limited facilities at the schools and rec centers, that really kind of set, I think, our area behind. And then behind that, you have COVID, where you're not supposed to be close together and all of those sorts of things. So I'm glad to see that some of those rec centers and those facilities are coming back, and kids are able to participate in their individual sports. But for us, being renters of school buildings or church buildings,
You're reliant on all these, schools, the district, the churches, anywhere that basically has a court where you can play basketball and or volleyball. They're not just everywhere, so I'm sure that's a little bit of a challenge to schedule and get those people to and for them, like you said, you're renting these facilities, so it's kind of a two-way relationship. You guys are getting a place to play, the facility's getting a couple extra bucks in their pocket.
That's right. And they're, of course, their schedule of events are priority over ours. And that's the challenge too, is, we think we have a plan of nights or weekends, whatever it may be, but we have to conform to what those activities are, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But that just adds an extra
You could
element.
have a night where they got something going on, you didn't know about it, and then all of a sudden you've got 5, 6, 7, 8 games that get bumped.
That's
Now
right.
you got to figure out how to play those. So a lot of challenges that come behind the scenes with running a youth and adult sports league.
Most definitely.
So with all that being said, obviously this is kind of a stupid question, but how much would a multi-purpose indoor facility benefit our area?
Yeah, I think it would benefit tremendously if we think back to what Fusion/Renegade was years ago before the hurricane, and that's one of the places that I had started working at a few months before the hurricane. We were really trying to develop programs there, given that it was
Where was that located?
right across the street from Mosley High School.
Okay.
Lynn Haven Methodist Church owned the building.
Gotcha.
And they were operating that at one time. And that was something that was an after school, a place that kids could go. They could pay a membership and go and do homework, but also be able to play on the court or go in the weight room, or they had, like a skate park at the time. I mean, the building was incredible because it was all under one roof.
Yep.
So you had a weight room for the adults and things like that. That concept here would be really beneficial. And again, for us specifically, being able to operate leagues where we're not piecing out our calendar where, if it's volleyball time, we can't do basketball because there's so much volleyball going on.
Yep.
When it's basketball season, obviously we can't have the nets in the gym or the church, again, wherever we're fitting in. So our families with siblings and multiple age groups, it's just a challenge for them.
Yeah.
So, again, being selfish for us, we'd love a multi-court facility where we could have everybody under one roof. And I think, with the city of Lynn Haven having theirs, that certainly benefited their sports programs and things. But there needs to be multiple. MLK is coming online soon, and maybe that's a spot that can be utilized for more kids to play. But those sorts of facilities are vital to the kids getting better, the kids having opportunities to play, the kids being occupied and not, looking for something else to do outside the structure.
That's one of the big things I was thinking about when you were talking about that facility before it got wrecked by the hurricane is, kids at a gym, weight room, whatever it is, there's a lot less things you can get in trouble with. So it gives them something to, I'm not saying all kids are like that, but if you don't have a place to go and hang out and play sports or get better, then a lot of times you end up getting into stuff that you shouldn't be doing. So certainly that would benefit that side of things as well. But
Yes.
I mean, I think one of our issues, we're so fragmented. You got Lynn Haven, Callaway, Parker, Panama City Beach, and all the other towns that I'm probably missing. And it just, because I can remember, everywhere you went growing up, that city or town always had a recreational facility that, you know, if you paid your tax dollars to that city or town, you could use that facility, whether it was playing basketball, whether it was swimming, anything like that. And it just, this area has nothing like that. And it just seems like there's a huge opportunity. Now, I know over at the public sports park, they got an indoor facility coming in. I have no idea how much that will be used for locals as well, because obviously it's a big tourism push, because all the, you know, you've got Foley, you've got all those places to our west that, you know, so many people drive there for volleyball tournaments, basketball tournaments. You're talking about these facilities that have, you know, 15, 18, 20 courts under one roof. And obviously that would be a big expense for us, but obviously would bring a lot of tourism. But you would hope if we build something like that, it would also be able to be utilized by the locals as well. I just think there's so much opportunity in our area for some kind of facility to really benefit everybody, locals, visitors alike. So hopefully that's maybe in the works for, you know, this side of the bridge down the road too, because I think, like you said, that would only be beneficial. Referees, is that a big challenge for you guys to find people? Because, you know, you see it all the time. It's the parent referee relationship. And, you know myself, Beth tries to get me to sit down at basketball games. I can't not. I'm just more reacting to the game, and I'm not really criticizing. So how tough is it to get officials for all? Because you got volleyball, you've got basketball, and you've got flag football, or your three-headed monster there, that you need people that know all three of those particular games.
Yeah, it's a challenge. We do have some guys and ladies that have been refereeing for us for multiple sports for several years, and I think that's a critical part of the sort of the parent relationship. Is you see the same folks over and over, and whether you agree that they're a great referee or whether you think they're a good or bad person, they are there, they are consistent, and they're showing up.
And we're not playing sports without them.
That's right. So it's again, the group that we have in all of our sports, they're fantastic. And again, just our personal philosophy is we want it done right. So we want it done to the best of your ability. Now, we can't pay you what you deserve to be paid. You know, and that probably goes for every sports league and every level of sports. But again, we try to treat everybody fair. We try to have their backs. We try to, you know, communicate well and ahead of time so that there's not any miscommunication or things that are interrupted. So it is a challenge. We certainly would love to have people contact us if they are interested in officiating. We work in kids that are as young as 14, 15 years old to doing the score boards and things like that. I
know Ryan's did a couple of flag football games, the scoreboard anyway.
Yep. Some of our older basketball players do the scoreboard, you know, before their game or after their game. So we do try to utilize young folks, and even if they're college kids that athletes or just they're majoring in sports and recreation tourism or whatever that the management or the coursework is. You know, we sign up on volunteer hours. So, you know, again, we have sports year round, different leagues year round, plenty of opportunities to get involved, coaching as well, volunteer coaching. Those are both areas that we typically need help in. And we'd love to have folks who have experience, but we're certainly welcome the folks that aren't as experienced, and we can train them up and work with them and, you know, give them a little extra side money. It's really nice work for a younger player or a student to work that in around their work schedule, make a little extra money for the family, for themselves, whatever that is. So, you know, it is a challenge, but we are very appreciative of the folks that we have, and I think they do a great job, and you know, we would not be able to operate without them. So they're a key piece to the whole program.
The game, no doubt about it. Now, I would second that too. I think your officials do a wonderful job, and are always, you know, willing to answer questions if there's any confusion. And like you said, they're always trying to get it right, and that's all you can really ask for. But again, you know, if anybody's looking to get involved, just reach out to Brent and Southern Elite Sports. Like you said, it's an opportunity. You know, if you need some credits in high school or even credits in college, those volunteer hours, whatever it may be, that's a way to, you know, kind of get two birds with one stone there is help out officiating at Southern Elite Sports. And even if you don't know a whole lot about that particular sport, you guys will train them up and get them ready to go for their first game and all that stuff.
Most definitely.
Awesome. Again, Southern Elite Sports, Brent Dillard, rocking basketball, volleyball, and flag football. let's talk about your other business that I think you got started a few years ago, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. And that's Island Tiki Tours. Tell everybody about that a little bit.
Yeah, me and my wife were looking for just a personal boat for us to take to Shell Island and hang out with friends and things like that. And as we're scrolling through whatever site we were on, we just saw this sort of tiki themed pontoon looking boat, and really both of our minds just started
Your entrepreneurial mindset,
the
kind of
hamster wheel. We
Yep.
were just spinning with thoughts and ideas. And this was before there was really any tiki themed boats or even the catamarans or
Yep.
those other boat businesses that around here that have been established for a while. And so we contacted a builder, and we started this process during COVID. And we were given a completion date, and because of COVID, that took extremely longer than what they told us. But we, kind of grit our teeth through the process and, try to have a positive attitude of what was happening, what we were being told. But we finally got our boat, and we're doing, Shell Island tours, 2 hour, 4 hour, full day. Our boat comes with a captain. So my wife and I both went to captain school.
Nice.
We both got our licenses. We are both captains. Our boat is Coast Guard certified.
Nice.
I don't expect anybody to call me Captain Brent, so we
We'll do
don't,
that
we
for the
can
rest of
bypass
the
that.
rest of the time I know you.
That's right. But yeah, business has been great. My wife is the primary captain. She loves doing it. We have a lot of fun with it. When we are not booked, we take the boat out. There's a banner on the side, so it's advertising
Yeah.
as it's out.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we look at that as a positive, even if we're not booked. Certainly love to have our locals join us for a good time. Even small businesses,
Yep.
team building sort of excursion type of thing. We would certainly work with any group or business locally that wanted to do some things. We've had a couple of realtor groups come out, and they bring a Publix little sandwich tray, and we have drinks, and you can bring drinks on board. So
How many people can you fit on the boat in total?
yeah, 16. We're actually certified to take 18, but it's a little
Gets a little
cramped
tight,
at
yeah.
18. So there are 16 physical seats, adult seats that we call it. A lot of times the 18 is maybe including kids when they're a
Yeah,
little smaller.
Squeeze in there a little bit.
But we've got stool seating at the bar. We've got bench seating in the back. So
So is there like a bar in the middle?
there's
That's
a bar
cool.
in the middle. We've got cup holders on the sides. There's USB ports underneath
Dang.
the bar for charging.
What don't y'all have?
There's a TV on board. That's the thing that we like to, try to advertise, that most of the boats around here don't have a
Yep.
TV. So if it's football season, baseball season, I get the MLB package. I have the NBA season pass. College football is thank goodness YouTube TV and ESPN
Yep.
got their stuff together.
Absolutely.
So any sporting event, if it's a family with cartoons that we need to put on to occupy them because the Dolphins aren't doing the trick, we can do that. So, like I said, that's a fun business that we have, and my wife enjoys being on it. I enjoy being on it, and you have to try to have a bad time on the water. You
Yeah,
just
no
have to have
doubt.
that mentality of, oh, the sunshine is too bright, or it's too hot,
The
or
water's too pretty.
the water's
The
too pretty.
Dolphins were only
Yeah,
here for 5 minutes instead of 20 minutes.
that's right. So it's an excellent thing that we've done for our family, and our family has benefited being able to be on the water
Yep.
more and things like
It's
that.
a win-win for sure.
So it most
It's
definitely
like you
is.
said, you guys take it out. You're advertising for Island Tiki Tours. I mean, I've seen people take pictures of it and post it on Facebook
Yeah.
too. 'Cause it's a pretty
Yeah.
cool looking
Yep.
boat with the tiki outfit on it. Very
Yeah,
very cool.
it's awesome.
Yeah, and so if somebody wanted to book a tour, where would they need to go?
Yeah, our website is islandtikitours.com. All the information is there. You could send us a message on Facebook. Please let us know that you're a local. We'll give you a discount.
There
We
you go.
try not to like we advertise that, but we don't advertise that at the
Yeah.
same time. So we would love folks to let their relatives know when they come in town and visit. It's just an excellent sort of family boat. And again, I think the advantage we have over, say, the Sea Screamer or the Catamarans is you're sharing the boat with 16 people. You're not sharing it with 60 or 100 people.
Strangers too.
So we have a lot more groups than we do individuals. But again, anybody that's looking for a good time on the water, we've got the Bluetooth music and all those sorts of features. And it's a very enjoyable time.
Do you get bachelor and bachelorette parties out there?
We do. That's one of our biggest bookings that we have, are bachelorettes, bachelor parties. And honestly, they're a lot of fun, so most of them, we've not had to call the Coast Guard on anybody.
That's a
in
positive.
our I think we're going into our fifth year
Wow.
doing it.
That's
We
awesome.
completed our 4th year. So it's it's still enjoyable, and everybody has a good time, but it's contained, and everybody is
Well behaved
no
for the most
troubles.
part. Yep,
yeah.
that's good. Again, that's Island Tiki Tours. You can check out their website, islandtikitours.com. You got 2 hour, 4 hour, whole day, all sorts of different options. You don't have to be on it for the whole day. You can book different things. And again, you'll have a great time out there. TV is provided. You can BYOB. They got the bar that goes around the middle of the boat. They did it right. Again, that's Island Tiki Tours. Brent Dillard and his wife do a fantastic job. Check them out on Facebook or just go to their website. All right, real quick before we get into some of those crazy stories, as we always do on Thursdays, we got conference championship weekend coming up. And obviously the college football playoff rankings came out 2 nights ago. But a lot's going to change after this weekend as well. Or maybe it won't be. Our first 2 conference championship games start tomorrow night. You got Troy and James Madison in the Sun Belt Conference Championship. James Madison's just a powerhouse there in the Sun Belt, 11-1. They're playing Troy, who would like to upset James Madison from potentially getting a college football playoff spot. They cracked the top 25 at number 25. Then, of course, the other game that'll probably, give an opportunity again to crack that top 25, top 12 playoff spot, because one of the group of 4 conference teams is guaranteed one spot in there, and these 2 teams are very close to getting in there. You got Tulane at number 20 and North Texas at number 24. They play tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in the American Athletic Conference Championship. Again, one of those 3 teams is going to make it to the college football playoff, which is pretty awesome. I think it's going to be James Madison, because I think James Madison is the best team of those 3, with Tulane being a close second. I think North Texas would maybe make some noise too if they had the opportunity. And then one of the bigger games that Alabama, Notre Dame, some of these other teams that are trying to sneak in or wanting to watch, that's BYU and Texas Tech. Obviously, if BYU beats number 4 currently, Texas Tech, BYU would likely get in, so would Texas Tech. And then, if Alabama were to lose to Georgia, they may get bumped out, and Notre Dame may get passed by as well, depending on the result. I mean, if BYU upsets Texas Tech, which I don't think is going to happen, that may bounce some of those other teams out. Who do you think, BYU or Texas Tech?
That game they played earlier this year was kind of a defensive struggle, lower scoring game.
Which was kind of surprising for those 2 teams.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech probably has too much firepower on both sides.
Yep.
But when you play somebody the second time, that's
Tough to beat a
the
team
real
twice
test.
in one season. Absolutely.
So I would give the edge to Texas Tech, but should be a fantastic game.
Yeah, it should be a fun one, and that's 11 a.m. on ABC on Saturday morning. So that's getting us started on championship weekend. And then right after that one, 3 p.m., you got the SEC championship. That'll also be on ABC. That's number 3, Georgia versus number 9, Alabama. Can Georgia do it twice in one season, or does Alabama get their win and get them kind of I don't want to say guaranteed spot, but if Alabama wins that game, they are definitely in the college football playoff. If they lose, like I said, and BYU beats Texas Tech, they might get bounced out with those 3 losses. What do you think, Alabama?
I like the chaos. And again, to
like
the
chaos,
point
too.
of playing a team twice, I think Alabama's going to edge them in this game. It'll certainly be close. But again, I think in the SEC, playing teams twice, you really get into your bag of tricks, or deep into your scouting report. So
Yep.
I'm gonna give the edge to Alabama in that one.
I like chaos too. So I'm rooting for as much chaos as possible coming out of this weekend. And then the game that I don't want to say doesn't matter. I think if either one of these teams lose, they're still going to be in the college football playoff because there's no way you can take them out because they're currently both undefeated right now. That's number 1 Ohio State versus number 2 Indiana. I think it's going to be a great, great football game. Currently, Ohio State is a 4-point favorite in that one. What do you think?
Yeah, Ohio State has been, I think, the no doubt sort of, had some close games, but not many.
No,
And they've looked the most complete and dominant to me.
absolutely.
And especially the freshman quarterback, I think that was the biggest question mark going into the season.
He certainly answered the bell against Michigan.
He most definitely has gotten better throughout the season, and that's not a good sign for the rest of the field in college football. So I think Ohio State wins. Indiana, great season. I think it will be a competitive game, but I think Ohio State wins.
I mean, the good thing, like I said, for Indiana, too, if they do lose this game, which is probably likely to happen, sorry, Indiana fans, they're still going to get into the college football playoff. They may just not be where they wanted to be in that top 4, but they'll probably still get a home game if they do get bounced out of that top 4. I don't know if I see that. Depending on the Georgia-Alabama game, too, that'll impact if whoever loses, if Indiana does lose, how far they'll fall. And then the game that's just kind of ridiculous, the ACC championship, Duke 7-5, Virginia 10-2. Virginia currently 17th in the college football playoff. If Duke wins this game, now you've got a ton of chaos and probably no team from the ACC getting into the college football playoff. Obviously, if Virginia wins, because the conference champions are guaranteed, but if they're outside of all the other rankings, then they don't get in. So this game obviously has a lot of implications as well. Virginia win this one, or Duke give them a fight?
I know just how silly this situation is, being a Florida State fan.
Yeah.
It was a little shocking to lose to Virginia at the time that we lost to Virginia. But come to find out, Virginia's got a great team. So if Florida State did not do as poorly as they did the remainder of the schedule, that loss would not have looked so bad. But here we are now. And, again, the most chaos has certainly got to be in the ACC this year.
Yep.
I think Virginia will win. I'm not necessarily rooting for chaos there because it would be good for a conference champion to get in.
Yeah, no doubt.
Unlike a couple of years ago when you're undefeated and you get snubbed out. So
Yep.
I think Virginia wins. Duke's got a good team, so I think they have a chance. But I would say Virginia there.
Absolutely. Speaking of getting snubbed, what are your thoughts? And I wanted to ask you this specifically because you are a Florida State fan. Obviously, y'all got snubbed from the college football playoff a few years ago after going undefeated, but their reasoning was your quarterbacks were out, so it wasn't the same team, which a lot of people did not like and took a lot of offense to that. Ole Miss, currently sitting at number 6. They don't play any more games. Their head coach is out. What's the difference between, obviously your quarterback's on the field, your coach is off the field, but could you make the argument that Ole Miss shouldn't get in because their head coach is not going to be coaching that football game?
I think you could. Like you mentioned, the players are the one executing the plays on the field. But the head coach is pretty vital to a team. Not saying that Ole Miss can't make a run without Lane, but certainly that's an argumentative point that could be talked about. And again, you rely on your backups, and they're backups for a reason.
Yep.
But your starting defense is playing and healthy. Again, that to me is the argument of you've got some in the NFL, particularly, you've had some pretty bad offensively challenged teams that their team won the Super Bowl. If you go back to Peyton Manning,
Yep.
with Denver, his last couple of years there, the defense carried them. Even though Peyton Manning is a Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
he was nowhere near in his prime or really contributed offensively much. Some of those old Ravens teams where they had outstanding defenses, Tampa Bay's team with kind of a game manager type quarterback. That's the argument I think that most Florida State fans would make a couple of years ago is you had pros on the defensive line, linebackers,
Jared
secondary.
Verse, all those guys that now
that's
are on the
right.
Rams that I don't like.
So I think that's the biggest gripe is, yes, you're without your starting quarterback, but can you beat another team solely on defense and scoring 17 points?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And we
It
should
is
have gotten
right.
the opportunity, in my opinion, to see if that would have been the case.
Yeah, at least get a chance.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was still one of the craziest things ever with this college football playoff. Does Miami or Texas deserve to be in the college football playoffs? Currently sitting at 12-13. Obviously, there'll be some chaos in front of them, so they may move up. Obviously, Miami has 2 losses. Texas has that dreaded 3rd loss, but all 3 of they have 3 top 10 wins at the time of the game. I don't know if that, that's what Sark's kind of been pushing with his reasoning to get into the playoff. But does Miami deserve to get in? Obviously, they did not play in their championship game, 10-2 on the season. They did lose to Notre Dame head-to-head, but Notre Dame's currently inside the top 12. Obviously, that could move. What do you think? Miami or Texas should be in the college football playoff?
I think they both have good resumes. You can certainly talk about their quality wins, and you can certainly talk about Texas's sort of strength of schedule. Miami's got the Notre Dame, non-conference where they challenge themselves, and again, that's all well and good. But you also have 2 ACC losses. Again, if you lose to Notre Dame, but you're 11-1 in your conference, you're playing your conference championship game, that's a different scenario, in my opinion. And then Texas, the same. Again, no disrespect to Florida, you can't lose to a 3-9 Florida team.
That's a tough loss on there for sure. And then the Alabama loss to Florida State, that 3rd loss. I mean, that between that loss and then Texas's loss to Florida, those are going to weigh heavily on the decision if they're kind of on the fence about going in or not going in.
Agree.
So no, Texas and Miami shouldn't be in the college football playoff.
I think no, and again, they're right on that bubble.
Yep.
So depending on what happens this weekend, that may shake some things up. But I would lean to no.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. All right, we're going to jump into our crazy stories. We're going to start off with a real banger. This is from Fox 13, also the Associated Press. The title of this one is Raccoon Goes on Drunken Rampage in Virginia Liquor Store and Passes Out on the Bathroom Floor. All right, let's get into this.
I think I saw this.
Ashland, Virginia. The masked burglar broke into the closed Virginia liquor store early on Saturday and hit the bottom shelf where scotch and whiskey were stored. The bandit was something of a nocturnal menace. Bottles were smashed, ceiling tiles collapsed, and alcohol pooled on the floor. The suspect acted like an animal because, in fact, he is a raccoon. On Saturday morning, an employee at the Ashland, Virginia area liquor store found the trash panda passed out on the bathroom floor at the end of his drunken escapade. I personally like raccoons, said Samantha Martin, an officer who works at the local animal control. They are funny little critters. He fell through one of the ceiling tiles and went on a full-blown rampage, drinking everything. That's a good one for sure.
That's amazing.
I'm sure some people can relate to that, in their college days and stuff like that. All right, this is another interesting one. Flash in the pan. Walmart shoppers rage. This is from Fox News. Walmart shoppers rage after waiting hours to buy a bulk box of Kraft mac and cheese designed to look like a flat screen TV, only to see it sell out within seconds. That's maybe some of that. We talked about how Black Friday isn't like it was, what it used to be, because nobody's like lining up at the doors anymore because you can buy everything offline, and we're missing out on the fights and all that stuff. So we had a little clip of that. All right, here's another good one. A Colorado school went into lockdown after staff reported a mountain lion on campus, but it was just an unusually large domestic cat. The mix-up caused temporary panic but no injuries. Authorities confirmed the cat posed no threat and safely returned it to its owner. Students and staff are now sharing the story online, adding humor to the incident. It was a big old cat, really fat cat. You can look it up. But to have the school go into lockdown is pretty crazy over a really large domestic cat. This isn't like crazy, but it's just kind of one of those science things I always throw in one or two. A Chinese surgeon operated on a patient 800 kilometers away, and the procedure was successful. In a world's first, Dr. Zhang Yu was in Rome while a cancer patient was in Beijing. They were connected through a 5G powered surgical robot that moved in real time with almost no delay. It was telesurgery. It was being performed live during a global medical conference, with the robot copying every movement Zhang made from another continent. The delay was only 135 milliseconds, which is faster than a blink. Zhang and his team made history with the operation. They have shown that what becomes possible when human skill is supported by advanced correlation technology. The future of medicine, distance may no longer be a barrier. Would you let a surgeon operate on you not in the operating room with you?
I would not like that. No. Now, if there becomes a track record where that is successful, I might be okay. But
more actual
that
real
that
life
is
tests.
that's mind blowing right there.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. But hey, it may benefit people in the future if you are willing to step up and do that.
Yeah,
But yeah, 800 kilometers away on a whole nother continent, and he was like working through this like virtual reality like thing that he had on. 135 milliseconds is pretty crazy how fast that is with the delay.
yes, it is.
This is just a Nick Saban one that's kind of fun. Nick Saban's 2015 coaching staff at Alabama featured Lane Kiffin, who's now the LSU head coach, Dan Lanning, who is now the head coach at the University of Oregon, Kirby Smart, who is now the Georgia head coach, as everybody knows, Mario Cristobal, the Miami Hurricanes head coach, Billy Napier, who was Florida's head coach up until this season, Mel Tucker, who was Michigan State's head coach up until 2023. Pretty unbelievable to have those guys all on your staff at one time. I don't know if they won the national championship that year, but I'm sure they would have. Or if they didn't, I'm sure they were close. I can't remember if they won in 2015 or not. All right, another fun one. This comes from a zoo in San Diego. Ken Allen, that's a great name for an orangutan. Ken the orangutan at a San Diego zoo became famous for his many successful escapes. During each breakout, he would peacefully stroll around the zoo and look at all the other animals as he were just taking a walk. He never acted aggressively towards visitors. He did throw rocks at Otis, the other orangutan he hated. But yeah, he just got out and walked around the whole zoo and just looked at all the other exhibits and didn't do anything crazy. Could you imagine being a guest at that zoo and then boom, all of a sudden you see an orangutan walking around with you there?
That would be awesome, I think.
Grab his hand and walk with him. I can't zoom in enough to actually read the newspaper article for this one, but just the headline is pretty funny and very in line with what we always talk about. When I ordered a 42-inch TV, I wasn't expecting a dwarf transvestite. So it was a Black Friday deal that somebody was trying to buy and ended up getting a dwarf transvestite instead of the 42-inch TV. I'm hopeful that that's real and not fake, because everything you never, that's where we're at now with the internet, is you don't know if it's AI or if it's actually real.
That's true.
This is an interesting fun fact from Japan. Japan now has almost 10 million empty homes due to its declining population. Japan is running out of people, not houses. The latest government survey found that 9 million empty homes across the country, about 14% of all dwellings, or 1 in 7, are unoccupied. A shrinking population and aging households means more homes are being left behind every year, especially in rural areas. Some towns are even giving away abandoned homes to attract new residents. What would make you move into one of these ghost homes? Pretty crazy stuff there. That's kind of like the small towns all across the United States. If you leave the small town, and you don't come back, or your family doesn't stay there, small towns eventually, kind of die. It's kind of one of the sad parts about rural America, and apparently it's happening in Japan as we speak. Got some middle school action coming up this afternoon. I know on the girls basketball side of things, University Academy trying to stay undefeated. They travel over there to Rutherford High School, but that's where their middle school plays too, because it's all in one. Bozeman is hosting Merritt Brown. Breakfast Point Academy is hosting Surfside. Bayhaven is hosting North Bayhaven. Jinx is hosting Mowat. And like I said, Rutherford is hosting University Academy. Currently, University Academy and Bayhaven are both 6-0, leading the girls' basketball standings. We play Bayhaven on Tuesday at home, which will likely determine the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. That's going to be a fun one. So thankful that we have a gym now there at University Academy, so we can actually have home basketball games that have been a lot of fun and very exciting. On Tuesday, University Academy's boys soccer team dropped 1-0 to Tyndall Academy, so they fell out of their undefeated season. Lots of chilly games coming up this afternoon if the rain should hold off. North Bayhaven is hosting Surfside. Mowat is hosting University Academy. Merritt Brown is hosting Tyndall Academy. Jinx is hosting Rutherford. Bayhaven is hosting Breakfast Point Academy. And Palm Bay is on a bye this week. Current standings: University Academy is 6-1. Surfside is 5-1. Breakfast Point 4-1. Mowat, Tyndall, North Bayhaven, Bayhaven, Palm Bay, Rutherford, and Merritt Brown and Jinx round out your boys' soccer standings right now. And then on the high school side of things, just found out that you could see all the games in the county on the Bay District School Athletics website. You've got reading it is a different thing for me. Bay Haven is playing North Bay Haven in wait, maybe this is middle school. Yeah, this might be everybody. Let me pull up Max Preps real quick. I don't have the basketball in my Max Preps, but I'll get it loaded for next week. Yesterday, let's see, we had some scores reported. Bay and Freeport in girls soccer tied 2-2. Mosley beat Rutherford 3-2 in boys soccer. Mosley beat Leon 4-2 in girls soccer. Mosley's girls soccer team is currently 5-2 on the season. Bay beat Freeport 4-3. And then today you got a couple more soccer games coming up. You've got Arnold girls who are 5-1-1 traveling up to Mariana to take on the Mariana Bulldogs. North Bay Haven Academy is traveling over to Destin. North Bay Haven Academy on the boys soccer side is 4-3. So a lot of good soccer programs right here in our area. And like I said, I get the basketball loaded up in my Max Prep so I can get that going. I'm going to try to have some of the basketball coaches on the podcast here sometime soon as well. Brent, before we go, remind everybody about Southern Elite Sports and Island Tiki Tours and where they can find out the information to sign your kid up, be a referee, or have a great tour out there on the water.
Yeah. For Southern Elite Sports, the website is southernelitesports850.com. You can send us an email for any questions or inquiries about coaching or refereeing. Southern Elite Sports 1@gmail.com. Island Tiki Tours, the website with all the information is islandtikitours.com. You can hit us on Facebook, TikTok videos, Instagram. We're everywhere that we can be. So y'all give us a shout and participate in sports or participate in boating activities. Both fun options.
Win-win for everybody out there. Brent, I appreciate you coming on today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, the full episode will be posted on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you consume your podcast information. You can check out the Inside Drive podcast. We appreciate everybody who subscribes, everybody who tunes in, everybody who watches and engages. We appreciate all of our followings here on the Inside Drive podcast. Y'all enjoy championship weekend, and we will be back live next Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everybody.